It's the Jack
and Cathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was
okay,
that?
that,
Did you like
I
that
think
one?
I think if yeah.
Okay.
There's no clapping, by the way, because why are you so? How'd you get so much taller?
I sit up straight. I have
I'm
a good
sitting up.
posture.
Look how straight I am.
I know. That's. Oh, I'm in a different chair. I think. No, I'm in the same chair.
No, your chair is higher. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Nice
it is.
Try.
It is higher.
I think I
Look,
just
it
have
is.
a taller
I
torso
swear to
than
God,
you do.
your chair is higher. Yes, it is. You don't have a taller
Okay.
torso than me.
I think I do.
You don't.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me groom you.
I thought you were gonna do this.
You can look like
A Sith Lord.
the Witcher, or something.
Oh yeah.
You know that show.
Hi.
All right, hi.
Guess what we're doing?
Where are we right now, Jack Honer?
In a hotel room.
Well,
Wong. Wong.
we're in Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
I'm wearing my Parisian striped sweater that I bought the other day
And I'm just eating
in
butter.
Paris.
And I'm just eating butter.
That's what you do. Oh my God.
It's just funny. Maybe I should eat a little honey too.
What should we start?
No, we're not.
What's
We're not starting
happening?
from the beginning. I am going to have a fresh bakery item.
I don't know what you're doing right now.
So what's going on? We're recording.
So we're in Luxembourg. We had my mother and brother and myself had our appointment at the Luxembourg consulate, and we got our official stamp in our pursuit of our dual citizenship. In about 5 months, it should be official. After, I don't know, I think I've been working on this with my mom and my brother for the last 18 months at least. So, yeah, it's kind of fun.
And I
We're
proposed to you.
finally there. I missed that.
Oh, who was that then?
You better find out.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're here in Luxembourg, and it is a beautiful city, and they speak very tiny country. It's Luxembourg City in the country of Luxembourg, and they speak German and French. Well, I guess it's supposed to be a derivative of German that's Luxembourgish, I guess. And they speak French, and of course everybody seems to speak English, so we're getting off scot-free. But we've been working on our French. We went to Mass yesterday in Reims, Reims.
I talked to a guy yesterday, and he said it's literally pronounced. The guy at the bar.
Yeah.
I remember I was with Dennis. We were watching the Packers game.
Yep. Yeah, you were watching the Packer game last night
At a bar
Luxembourg.
in
At a
Luxembourg.
bar. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little sick. And I asked the guy how do you pronounce? He speaks 5 languages, by the way.
Oh my gosh,
Portuguese,
we're so
English, German,
stupid.
French, and one more. I can't remember which. Anyway, I said, how do you pronounce? He goes, well, you Americans call it Reims.
Yeah.
And he's ready. He said this. Ready?
Yeah.
Chem. Chem. That's how you pronounce it. Chem. Just chem. That's it.
Yeah.
Chem. Not rems. Not. You really don't hear the R. You don't hear the S. Just chem. Anyway,
See, I've heard it pronounced where you kind of hear
Chem.
the S and not the M, but
Chem.
chem.
No, not.
And
Yeah, just chem. Chem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chem.
Chem.
Are you telling me I just said something different?
No, I'm just saying
okay.
it over and over
Yeah,
again.
the R's are in the back of the throat. Exactly. Yeah, if you were
So
going to
anyway.
describe to somebody how you make that noise, it would be that.
So we were at Mass yesterday, and
Yes, and the mass was in French, and we were, you and I were there trying to understand even a single word, and we did. We picked up
were
some
singing
words
along.
and we sang along and could kind of
We were trying.
figure out what we were singing, and we're going to work on our French because we would like to feel smarter and speak another language.
I think we feel this is a destination for us because we both have always liked Paris. You liked it before you met me, and I liked it before I met you.
True that. Very true.
And so we took an approach of maybe turning it into a journey.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We're thinking about writing a chapter here. Oh, whoops.
Oh. Yeah, we're thinking about writing a chapter here in Paris. Now that you're a citizen of Luxembourg, they give everyone $100,000 a year just to start in your first year as a citizen.
If only that were true.
Right? Yeah, so we started the trip in Paris, which you and I have been to before, which is beautiful. It was new for Dennis, Carol, and not your parents.
No, my mom and dad
again.
were here with me, and when my children were young, I rented a house in Provence for a good 3 weeks, and then we went to Paris for a few days. So we were in France when my kids were 5 and 7 years old with my parents for just shy of a month.
Want some butter?
And it was really special.
What?
Squirrel.
Squirrel. I am so
Who's-
squirrel on this trip,
You are
right?
squirrely right now.
Very squirrely. So we went to Paris and we saw some traditional sights. The Eiffel Tower was hilarious to me when we took your parents. We took a buttle bus, which is a boat,
The
water
boat taxi, the water taxi.
along the Seine. And then we got to the Eiffel Tower, got out, took a picture, then got in a taxi again.
We did.
Literally
We
30
did.
seconds in front of the Eiffel Tower because your
Yeah.
parents wanted to see it because they hadn't seen it before.
Right.
So
Well, my mom had been there with
she
me and
had?
the kids.
But
Yeah.
your dad hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no, that's not true. My dad went too. No, now that
did they
I'm
just want to
remembering,
check a box
the-
a second time? Was that it?
The 5 of us went. Myself, my children, my mother, and my father all went. But my father and I and the kids went all the way to the top.
Got it.
And we have pictures. I should dig those out.
Got it.
We have pictures from the top. But my mother does not like heights. So
why
anyway,
did we
went,
go to the Eiffel Tower then?
Because it just seemed like something to do. And
But it was, to me, it was hilarious that it was so quick, get out,
it was
take a
funny.
picture,
But
get in a car.
We were tired. It's been tiring days. That was the same. Wait, was that the same day we went to the Louvre?
The Louvre was the day before.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take, we got done with the Louvre in the afternoon, and I wanted to take the water taxi to the Eiffel Tower, but no one wanted to walk because your dad
Right.
was sore.
Oh,
Your dad
yeah,
was
his
tired.
back was tired. So it was just cumulatively, we got to just monitor.
But we had a
our
beautiful place in
excursions.
Paris, La Lanterne.
La Lanterne.
Oui.
In the 5th arrondissement.
Latin Quarter, correct. Right by the school. Whatever school that was. We were right by a school. College. Can't remember which one. Sorbonne. We were right near the Sorbonne.
Nice.
Merci. Oui, you should have said très bien. Instead of nice or bien.
Très bien.
C'est bon.
Très bien.
Merci. De rien.
De rien.
Yeah, très bien. So, no, we had a good time. We went to Louvre, which was fast. We got to see the Mona Lisa and some chick with her arms cut off. Can't remember her name, which was great.
Venus de Milo.
Venus de Milo. So we saw some stuff there.
Yep.
Had a beautiful lunch. We've had way too much to drink every single day.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to look at wine today.
Yeah, we've had we've had at least 2 gallons each in the 8 days we've been gone.
Oh my God.
Don't you agree?
I mean, certainly it's what you do on vacation, and certainly when you're in these countries that make such incredible wines.
Yeah. It's hard not to.
You
right?
just want to, have it for dinner.
Right.
But we're going out, of course, because we're vacationing. We're going out every night.
Every night.
And I'm not complaining.
No, it's been awesome.
But my system is probably like, could you
slow down?
Could you just
Can we just have water today?
Yeah, my liver would like just a little vacation.
It is delicious wine, though.
It is.
And your mom and dad are incredible hosts and hostesses of this entire event. So it's very exciting. What?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Well, I just meant that it was their idea to do all this.
It was. Mary Riley was the inspiration to the dual citizenship.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that they said, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then maybe with Olivia, Mac, and Sam, we can do this again.
My kids, and then my brother's child, Olivia. I think the 3 cousins might be pursuing their own citizenship. That the road should be faster and more clear once my citizenship is completed.
Why is that? Just because you know what to do, you mean?
Yeah, I don't think you have to provide as many documents, and then it's just
really?
Yeah, because I had to.
Oh, she had to provide
my grandmother, who is deceased, provide her marriage certificate, her death certificate. Then my mom had to be part of this. So you have to go in order. Like, I don't think my brother and I could have applied for this
without your mom.
Yes.
But so now that foundation's been laid out, it's easier for everyone else.
I think so.
I got it.
Okay,
because you guys had to prove.
Yeah.
You had to prove ancestry.
I think it's a slightly faster track.
Okay.
Or certainly less paperwork. Maybe it's not necessarily faster, but it requires less paperwork. But they still need to visit the consulate in person. So when they come here,
no, I think it's just neat that your mom and dad wanted to do
trip.
it. I think it's neat that they wanted to do it.
Definitely.
Because they didn't have to want to do something like this.
No, and it's a very special time to spend this with our parents. So
it was great. It was great. It's been great. So we made it to Luxembourg. Mm-hmm. We went to Rennes yesterday for 2 days, which was beautiful.
Yes, that's in the Champagne region. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend it. We had a gorgeous hotel that was right on the cathedral square. So you open up the windows and boom, this
you know what I'll try to do
cathedral.
As we're talking, I'll throw some pictures up.
Yeah.
Possibly. For those who are watching the podcast.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't, go look up REIMS, and it's a Notre Dame Cathedral knockoff, right? Wasn't it even called Notre Dame of Rennes or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we went to, then we drove, which I've never done. I've never driven through it, but I've always taken trains. Mm-hmm. I'm also a big fan of public transportation, so it's not as though I was afraid of driving. I like taking the train from Milwaukee to Chicago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't like driving. I think that's my problem.
Yeah.
Or challenge.
I learned last night through social media, and I think I told you this.
That I have a problem.
That all public transportation in Luxembourg is free.
It's free, yeah.
Like you can hop on a bus, you can hop on a train, and it's free.
That's very cool.
It's
so
cool.
we drove, squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
We drove.
I'm watching you.
I know you're watching me, but you're not looking at me.
I am, though.
Well, through there, but not here. Okay. So we drove from Paris to Rennes, and then from Rennes. No, where did we stop off?
Metz.
No, not Metz. We also went to Epernay. Right? What was that little town we went to?
We skipped Epernay. We went
we had lunch.
No,
we had lunch there.
Hold on. We had lunch in
not Metz, Castle.
Something of.
Damn it.
Thierry, like it looks like Terry.
Yeah. We stopped in a cute little town on the way.
Chateau de
Thierry or something like that.
Thierry,
right. And we saw it. It was on the way to
Epernay.
Rennes.
Oh. Right,
because we didn't get to Epernay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We stopped in this little town,
had
a castle,
out of time,
and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then just started getting late. So anyway, we've driven through France, which I've never done before. What's so funny? Why are you looking at me like that?
No.
I've never seen you when we do our podcast at home. You're normally doing this, looking back and forth, and now you're solely looking at yourself right now. You like the way you look, don't you?
I'm not. I'm looking at you.
I know, but we normally do this.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not looking at myself.
Oh.
I mean, we always glance at ourselves on camera, but I'm watching you speak.
So we drove through it, which was cool for me, even though I slept both times we were in the car. So I slept
Yeah,
on the way to
I was
Rem, and
jealous.
from Rem to Luxembourg, I slept.
I would
Well,
have
you
been
could have
snoring.
slept. No,
I would have been
did you
snoring.
not try to, or you can't sleep in the car?
I did. I
You just
did
couldn't?
not feel the.
Comfortable.
No, I just didn't. I just wasn't able to sleep.
This is a podcast about nothing, by the way, right now.
That's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're
It's
just
our
telling people what we
podcast.
did.
We can talk out of our butts.
It's been a very beautiful trip, and then Kathy and I are extending it. Oh, I do have a funny story. So we have the ability to monitor our house because we have cameras all over it. And
Yeah.
so someone came to the door.
rang the doorbell,
And we were going to answer it, but we didn't. What's really cool is we overheard them talking.
yeah. So my phone sent an alert. Jack has.
It's
Is it a
kinda
ring
cool.
doorbell?
It's
it ring?
a company called Arlo.
Arlo.
But same
so it's an
difference.
Arlo
Yeah.
doorbell.
Yeah.
And so back home in Wisconsin, we got a notification, opened up the app, and there's two young ladies ringing our doorbell. I don't know, they were,
Selling
probably
something. Yeah.
either selling something or signing a petition or
Right,
something.
something,
Right.
right.
So no big deal. But
Right.
they're chatting while they're wondering if we're going to show up and open the door. And they were commenting on our landscaping.
The first thing
they
they
were
said
so cute.
was, "I've never seen a walkway like this. It's really nice."
It's really nice. I've never seen that before.
And then they ring the doorbell again, and
And they're looking at the house. They're like, "Oh, they've really fixed.
fixed this
up.
house up. I
It looks
like it.
Really
It's
good. I
really
like it.
nice."
Yeah. And then we didn't come to the door, and they walked away. But we overheard this entire conversation.
Yeah, where they were
It's so
accompanying the house.
weird.
It was kind of cool.
It's so weird,
Yeah.
but it was really sweet. I'm glad they said sweet things. It was heartwarming because
I
we
almost
worked
wanted
our
to go-
asses off on that.
I know. I almost want to go check out the backyard.
Wait till you guys see the inside.
Hey, you should see the kitchen. So anyway, that was kind of cool. And so anyhow, the reason I brought it up was just because we're not home for a while. And so we're going to be in Luxembourg today, and then we head back to Paris. It's about a 5-hour drive tomorrow. It's a little bit longer, so I'm definitely sleeping.
5. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 4.5 hours tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we broke it up. We drove hour and a half, and something.
True. Yep.
So, but I'm sure people are going to want to stop. So we make the long drive first thing in the morning back to Paris. Mm-hmm. And then you and I, Wednesday through Sunday, are going to be in Lucerne, Switzerland.
Lucerne.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, we're taking the train, like a 7 a.m. train or
7 a.m. and it gets
7:40,
in a little, like around 11 o'clock.
4 hours.
A little bit more than
train.
4, yeah. And we just have one stop somewhere in Switzerland. And the guy last night, so Dennis and I went to watch the Paris game.
American football in Luxembourg City.
At 10:30 at night, and the guy there was, I think I told you, he was talking about Switzerland, and he said it's off the charts. But he said we should go to, ever hear of Lauterbruden?
No.
He said we should go to Lauterbruden. He said,
What is it?
It's a,
Town?
he said this. He said Lucerne is beautiful. You can walk it in a day. I told him we were going to Mount Pilatus. He said, gotta see it. He said, be prepared. It's going to be cold, especially the time we're there. He's got kids that live in Zurich.
Okay.
Adult. Remember I told you he's got
Yes.
2 adult kids. In fact, he's there today. He's going to visit his kids this week. But he said Lucerne is his prettiest city. Mm-hmm. Don't go to Bern. He goes, Bern's okay, but there's nothing there.
That's interesting because we were considering that.
Yeah, just because it's
popped up.
close. He said Zurich is super cool if you want to go to a big city. But I told him we were there Wednesday around noon all the way until Saturday, because Saturday we have a train back to Paris, and then we fly home Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. Anyway, he said if on one of those days, because we're there Wednesday, Thursday, he said on Friday, if we take a 2-hour drive, rent a car, drive an hour and a half to Lauterbruden, it's mountains with waterfalls everywhere. He said park after park after park of waterfalls. It's beautiful.
Damn.
So he said it's worth renting a car for the day. He
Really?
doesn't think he said it. He said rent a car. He goes, I don't know if there's trains or if the schedule works well. And so maybe it's something to consider. We can talk to the concierge
That'd be cool.
when we're there. Yeah. So anyway, I know you're just hearing that for the first time
Yeah.
because I didn't tell you about that.
That
But
sounds
I think
super
it's called
cool.
Lauterbruden. We could look it up. It sounded like Lauterbruden.
Okay.
But highly recommended it. And then he said, just walk all over Zurich. He said, Lucerne. He said it is crazy clean.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. That's been on my list of places to go to, and then amplified when Alex and Sam went there out of college. They took a summer trip to Europe and made a stop in Lucerne. And ever since those pictures, I've been wanting to go, which is now 7 years. So anyway, am I talking too much?
No.
Oh, okay. Your turn then, and over to you.
I think that sounds like a great idea. I'm always intrigued to rent a car. I love driving around the city. I love descending into a city and like checking out neighborhoods and just, places that you can't walk to by the public transportation. I just like it's like peeking behind the curtain of people who live here and seeing what their lives are like.
Do you know why I don't like driving? And it's not that I don't like being in a car. I literally don't like driving.
Oh, I like driving.
I know.
And I can't do directions. So
well,
that's why
but I don't like you driving and
we're
we're on touristy stuff. Do you know why? You take your eyes off the road. Like you start looking at all these different things. And that always makes me nervous. But that's why I don't like to drive, because I feel you don't see anything, because when you're driving, you're focused on the road. That's why I like taking the train, because you can just look out the window, or being a passenger. But we should consider... Like when we get there, talk to the would you do that? Like
sure.
Yeah, and then you're driving.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What side of the road do they drive on there?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never driven on the opposite side of the road.
So because our podcast is about relationships, I wanted to ask you a question. Or make a statement that I thought was really cool of something we did for dinner on our last night in Lucerne. I thought it was, do you know what I'm going to talk about? Which I thought was really cool.
No.
Because I'd like to do this for ourselves when we go on vacations, and I would like to do it with our family. Like say Mac and Sam and us do something, or all of our kids, or just you and me and Alex and Sam, or whatever it is. But you guys did something at dinner that I had never done before that I thought was the coolest thing.
Oh, is that when we shared our highs and lows?
Yeah. I thought that was really neat. Can you describe that? Have you guys done that before?
Yes.
Oh, you had? Okay.
Yes.
I'd never done it.
My sister-in-law, Carol, who's married to my brother, I believe she's the one that probably, or maybe Dennis has too, but we'll go around the table when we're gathered as a family just to say what are our highs and our lows, or you don't even have to have lows, you don't even have to have highs, you can have 7 highs, you can just sharing what had
stuck out in the trip.
Out to you in the trip.
In some way, yeah.
And that was kind of fun because it sparks conversation and those highs and lows hits everybody differently.
Yeah.
I mean, Summit was the same. Like there was about an hour that my father thought he lost his passport. Yeah. And that was a bummer, but we were all trying to solve it. And then Dennis and Carol went up to his room to just scan it one more time before we hit the appointment button of lost passports.
You were at the U.S. Embassy. I
filled
out all these forms for your dad,
And Dennis in his wisdom said, hold on, before you hit that button,
let's check.
And you can't go back from that. Let's go to the room one more time because we haven't looked. Mom and Dad have looked, but we'll keep looking.
Yeah.
And so...
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and Dennis went up and tapped his sweater, and the passport was in the arm of his sweater.
Yeah.
Because when he took off his sweater, his passport must have come out of his shirt pocket and went
fallen into
the
his sleeve. Yeah.
So they couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah. So that was a low moment for
dad.
A few of us that ended up to be a high moment when it was like, oh my God, we found it.
Well, and I'm not trying to sound like Joey Positive. Is that a guy? Joey Positive?
I don't think so, but it is now.
Peter Positive?
That's better.
Okay. It was funny because there was a ton of tension around it. Your dad was miserable. I felt bad for him. He felt as though he ruined the trip because we had to divert attention from doing tourist stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Dennis saw me typing away and filling out forms and looking things up and wanted to make sure everything was organized so that we could get going on that, right? And so I remember your brother said, is that a low for you? And I went, no, I actually figured we'd solve it. I really didn't mean to come off as like inappropriately positive. That's the right way to say it.
No, I don't.
Like I really thought we'll figure this out. It's a missed passport. The nice thing was it wasn't the day before we were leaving.
No.
Right? We had a full
in
week.
The beginning of our trip. That was like day 2 or something.
Yeah, we'd go to Luxembourg, come back, and take care of it. So anyway, I thought it was a really cool exercise. What's the right word? I don't know. I just thought it was neat because I've never done that before. And when it started with highs and lows, I thought, I don't get what's going on. I swear to God, I didn't get it. And then Carol went, well, my high was this and my low was that. And I didn't have any lows, remember? I didn't.
No.
I think it's so cool just to be here. And I'm glad that your family felt that I was important enough to come along for this journey.
Oh, you've been a welcome addition to this trip, babe.
Yeah, it's been, well, I love Europe, so it wasn't a stretch to get me on a plane to come out here. Mm-hmm. I definitely love Paris. I always have. I always get a kick out of people saying that Parisians are, and people from France are rude. I've never felt that. I just, some rude people, but that's anywhere.
Yeah.
So
we've had
anyway,
bunch of giggles.
Highs and
gosh,
we've had a ton of laughs, but the highs and lows
laughs.
It was a really cool thing to do. So if my kids are listening or anyone else is listening, I want to do more of that. Like, what was your high today? What was your low today? And talking about lows wasn't a bad thing either. You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
It wasn't. It's just stuff that you managed throughout the day and we laughed about. Anyway, I liked that.
Yeah.
So what's your high and low of this podcast right now?
Of the podcast? I would say the high is that we're even getting it done. I wasn't sure we would carve a minute to do this or that it would work, but it seems to be working. Yep. And, we'll see if it records right.
Yeah, well, crossing fingers.
Yeah, that's it.
It seems to be. Are you looking forward to the rest of the trip?
I am.
What is jumping out at you most?
I'm looking forward to Lucerne.
You are?
I really am.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be really exciting. But it's been a spectacular trip so far, and I've loved seeing the places that we've seen.
Yeah.
It scratches the surface though. It makes me almost anxious instead of satisfied. It's like, oh my gosh, this world is so big. I got to see more of it, you know? Yeah. Yep.
Well, if we could get more of you to spread the word and watch this, we could get advertisers, and advertisers would equal money, and then we could do our show wherever.
So you're saying I need to get better at social media?
No, I'm saying the people who listen to this need to spread the word about us so that we get more listeners, and more listeners equates to more money. And because we made $2 once.
That's not enough?
I think, and change, which is the same number of euros. It would be cool if we could do this podcast all over the world, right?
Well, it'll be whatever we make it. We just, stay our course. This is for us, first and foremost,
You're fun.
babe. You're pretty fun,
we have a
too,
good time
babe.
On these trips. We get along pretty well.
We do.
Except when I don't listen. Was that it? I don't listen. And what else do I have to get better at? You had a list.
Yeah.
What were the list of things I don't do well? By the way, that's Kathy's bed behind us if you're watching the video. If you look down the hallway, you'll see a cot. That's where I sleep.
Well, we set it up in the bathroom.
So I can just roll out and go if I need to. It's been a cool trip, and I thank you, and I don't know how to thank your family enough for having me here. I really had fun with Dennis, even though we were watching the Packers last night. It was kind of cool to sit in the bar. And by the way, we were truly the last two people there on a Sunday night at 10:30, and every TV had American football on. Because we said you just need to, it's a sports bar that we went to.
Yeah.
And obviously we were just trying to get the TV turned to our channel of the TV that was right in front of us. Mm-hmm. And he goes, no big deal. And the whole bar was filled with football games. So that's why I got to watch Travis Kelce. And the relationship that will soon end, as we both know.
No, we
Taylor
have this
Swift.
Wager going. Did we announce that wager on
camera?
No,
tell the people.
So you think that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to break up soon?
I think it's a media thing.
I think they'll get married in 3 years.
I think it's all hype NFL season ends, they're done, and they're going to come out saying we
Nope.
were just having fun. There's nothing to this.
They're a good match.
Not a
After
chance.
I watched that documentary, what was the documentary on the Kelsey?
Beckhams?
No.
Oh, the Kelsey brothers. Yeah,
Kelsey
It was his
brothers.
brother who plays for Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yes. And you glimpsed inside their family.
How nice of a guy he is. You mean?
Really nice
Yeah.
guy.
They've got
I think Taylor Swift needs a really
They should have us on their
Nice.
podcast because they have a very famous.
brothers?
The brothers have a very
Yeah.
famous podcast, and I gotta believe it's their last name. I don't know. I can't remember what it's all about. But I know they have a pretty powerful following on their podcast, and I'm sure now that maybe you should date somebody famous, and then I'll date somebody famous, and then we'll come back together on our podcast.
All right, we need to work on your master plan.
Nothing's working so
Yeah.
far. All right, so we're 30 minutes in. This was fun for us to do. We
was
have to
fun.
head down in 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that was it. This was
Just want to be
fun.
able to show that
Just
we're out here.
Greetings from Luxembourg.
We're having a ball. It's beautiful. If anyone has the opportunity to get themselves overseas, we both highly recommend it.
No doubt.
You just see, everyone speaks English, by the way, so there's really not a language barrier, or most everybody
Yes.
we run into. And
It's just about being respectful.
it is. Well, that's,
In
I
whatever
got to
country
tell
you're
one
in.
funny story. And I hope it doesn't sound, you know what I'm going at?
No.
Where Carol walked into the pharmacy.
Oh, that was funny.
Is that okay to say? It's
Yeah.
not ripping on Carol, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
'Cause I'm very sensitive to- I don't
she
want-
laughed at herself too.
Okay. I don't,
It was cute.
yeah, I don't want, I'm very sensitive to saying things that people might be sensitive toward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Sound like an idiot. So we in America tend to be in a hurry, especially when we're looking for things. And your mom uses like a CPAP, right, machine
Yep.
to sleep, and it needs distilled water, or else it gets clogged and it's hard to clean. So Carol and I were tasked with finding distilled water in a foreign country. So we're looking up on our phone how to translate distilled, right? So all right, now we know what the word looks like. So now we're going to stores looking for distilled water and reading labels. And so every store we went into, they had no idea what we were saying because I'm clearly saying distilled wrong. And so they're pointing us to water. I think I'm setting up the whole story. So we must have popped in 6 or 7 grocery stores. So then we decide to go to a pharmacy, and we walk in, and our energy level is getting higher where we kind of walk in and we just right away go, "Hi, do you have distilled water?" Right? So we don't do any real greeting other than that. Because in the US, I think you'd agree with me on this. You walk in a store and it's, "How can I help you?" Everything's very task oriented, right? And not very relational. Would you agree with this, where I'm going? Sort of?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, it's very, you got, I
Yeah.
need, thank you, here you go, right? I mean, it's symbiotic.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in Paris, right? In Paris, maybe just like in Oregon, everything's slower. You say hello, how are you, right? You have more dialogue, and then you make your transaction request. So we walk into this pharmacy, and Carol goes, "Hi, do you speak English?" And the woman goes, "Yes." Right? And then she delays for a second. And Carol goes, "Do you have distilled water?" And then the woman, and I'm getting the context, maybe not the verbatim correct. Am I getting this right?
I wasn't there.
Oh, I mean,
but
it sounds
yeah.
like the story that we told you guys,
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden the woman says, "In Paris, we like to say hello first. So, bonsoir or
Bonjour.
bonjour. And then we say, ça va." And she's saying all this stuff to Carol, and Carol's getting schooled on the spot.
Yeah.
And so Carol just goes, "I'm so sorry. Bonsoir." And the woman goes, "Bonsoir." Like it was a total play up of it. But that's when the woman said, "We're looking for distilled water." She said, "Well, we put distilled water." She was brilliant. She goes, "Well, we put distilled water in our irons. And you guys probably need it for a mask, don't you?" And Carol went, "Oh my God, that's it." And then we went across the street and we found distilled water by the iron products. So where you see like starch and all that kind of stuff, that's where you saw distilled water. So it was, anyways, just very interesting because Carol felt like shit for at least a couple of hours. And now every time we walk into a store together, her and I, did you ever see what we were doing? How we would walk in and I'd elbow her, go, "Say bonsoir." And
Yeah.
she would go, bonsoir, comment allez-vous?
Or bonjour.
Or bonjour, like that. We just lead with friendliness. However, it makes you think, why can't we always do that?
Yeah.
Right? That's what's cool about going to a different country. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like we're very transactional in the United States, I feel.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
But I feel we don't have that. Even if you ever walk up to someone like in the stores in Milwaukee, and you go, "Hi, how are you?" And they have that look of, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
Like, "What do you need?" I'm here.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I like it when I try to break through that and soften somebody up and
Yeah. Well, that's what my
always
point
ask
is.
our like if you have a waiter somewhere,
Right.
asking their name and addressing them by name next time they come to a
Right.
table.
Well, that's my
just-
point about how traveling overseas or into wherever to different countries introduces you to customs that you can take home and learn from, right? As opposed to going the fucking French and their need to have protocol. I looked at it as, all right, well, if we're in their country, right?
Yeah.
Let's learn from this. So what's wrong with us going to a store and trying and saying, hello, how are you tonight?
Right.
Right? Like you and I, you do this all the time in America.
What?
You do this, hi, what's your name? My name's Cathy. And this is Jack. When we're with waiters or other people. You ever notice you do that?
I ask them their name. I don't always say what our names are, but sometimes I do.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just very good about leading into something as opposed to being transactional.
That
was my takeaway.
I try to be conscientious. So
That was
there you
all.
have it.
Anyway,
All right.
It's been a really good trip. So, do you want to answer a question that we have before? Because we always end with some kind of thing.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that.
Well, no, we don't have to have the cards. I'm just curious
You have a question.
for you,
Okay.
and then you can ask a question of me.
Well, make it the same question.
Well, no. Well,
I don't know.
What we got to go in 2 minutes. What has been your high of the trip so far? One thing, just a high.
The entire trip that we've been here?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably our evening dinners where we're all sitting around talking and laughing, and those are the moments. I mean, you can say that, this site was gorgeous and that beautiful thing we saw just was breathtaking and that city was amazing, but at the end of the day, it's really been about us spending that time together. And honestly, having you here with my family and having my family get to know you better in this way, like traveling. And
I mean, like I'm the one that everyone makes
helpful.
pick up the luggage, right? I'm the one
You've been a
I have
helpful little bellboy.
Your brother keeps throwing me the keys. Park this.
Jack, I'm a little thirsty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So no,
I had the
it's been
same
super
answer.
helpful.
For me, there's two highlights for me. I love that you and I have had moments to sneak away, just because I like spending time with us, right? And I think the six of us have found moments to be with our respective partners. And even yesterday when Dennis and I just went away, it was fun to kind of break up the group into little intimate things. The dinners have been the most rewarding for me because every single dinner we've had together, it has been filled with discussion and laughter, and isn't that the Blue Zone, right? Isn't that what Blue Zones are about? Which we're practicing, sort of, not really, because we're drinking too much. Anyway, I've loved the dinners too, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, what else? That's it?
I think that's it.
All right, baby.
All right.
Peace. Jack and Cathy Shit Show outro take 652.
Laughing. You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Cathy Shit Show.
Our senior producers are me.
Hey, and me.
This episode was produced, engineered, and mixed by
the amazing Key Honar.
Email your questions, comments, or interesting relationship stories to jackandcathyshitshow@gmail.com. That is Cathy with a C.
Be sure to follow and like our marvelous shit show on Instagram and TikTok at Jack and Cathy Shit Show. Apparently, liking and following is a thing.
It is?
Yeah.
This episode was produced by Pint Productions 2022. Point!